Okay, in the Sifra that's Niyuta, we're on page Tuf Kuf Bet. We read this little blurb, I'll read it again. It says like this: V'asha marda shetachlis brias hanivroyim agashmim ihilizvada be'emsuusum b'chus olomos. So through this, we're able to find the reality of the olomos elyonim v'han hagosum in zos b'vadai ba'atzmusa yizborach ein kol hasaga. Even so, there's no way to be able to reach, be able to appreciate, understand Hashem. So then I think I'll read across, maybe I did this before, I'm not sure. We see like this, there's no knowing you at all. And he says, Misha Yasek the Das Klal, the Ein, Misha Yasek the Das Bach Klal, Be'atzmos, he, Ein Sof Baruch Hu, Ein Kol Tefisiv V'Chasaga, Rak Ne'etzolim Ana Mekirim Gedulas Ma'atzel. So we can only understand his greatness from what he created. Bar Ma'odo, but Bar Menach Lis Yechide, before there is no force, I guess, of Be'iloi V'Satai V'chutz Mimcho Ein Yichud Be'elyon V'Tachton. There's no possibility of uniting things. Yechafida Hashemas V'Chasfiros Ein Yechudam Ela Ayedera Be'or Ein Sof Sod HaMechabrim, which is Sof HaMechabram, the Ein Sof, which joins them together. That's the power of the Ein Sof. Kedeshama Hamamedes Hebrew of Ivaria Goof, like the Neshama that causes the limbs of the body to come together and work together. Being Yistala Merem Chaz B'Sholem, that leaves them. Tifara V'Ahavi, that would be separated all the different parts. V'Hashema V'Haspirit Yispartu Ish Ma'al Alchet. Okay, that's the basic idea there. Let's go to number Tes Vav. Number Tes Vav had Tes Zion, rather. Tes Zion had said, Ein Tefisa V'Chasaga, no possibility, B'or Ha'ein So Baruch Hu Lis Yadach Shahasik V'Das. There is no one who knows how to reach and to know Bo Yisbarach Shemo Klal. V'Afilu Elyon Elyonim, even if you get to the highest possible place, talk about Ak. V'Afilu Adam Kadmon Atzbo Ein Masik the Das B'or Ha'ein So Baruch Hu Shas Ratza. That's according to Shas Ratza. Of the Kisei Melech, also the Kisei Melech, he writes like this: Garas, he has Kanuscha Acheres. So there is down below. There's a different nusach. The nusach seems to me the pshat is pretty much the same. Let's see what he says. He says, Melech Garas Kanuscha Acherek v'lis bach yediyod klal. There is nothing, no one in you, v'lis bach yediyod klal. So he says, what's the difference in the language of Piruzel, the Shonik Yerafita, Kisra Umuchu, the Erik Anpin? If we're talking about the very top, the most penimus part of Erik Anpin, the Erik Anpin ration delay, Ainhum Masigin, Atzachos ration, not able to see some kind of some clearly the head over there, the little isya, it's unknowable, the atik na nikra ein so b'chashayl. So the same kind of concept. There is an atik, I guess you would say, an ein sof, that you could attach that name to all the different to any position that you have, any parts of that has a keser. V'kol shechein be'ein sof atzmo, even so, certainly that. Hachuta maluvish ba'adam kadmon she'ein musa klal. It's not able to be reached at all, to be able to have a concept. Betachtis chut, even if you say, let's look at the bottom of the chut, which goes all the way down through the chalal. But even the betachtis chut, even the bacha b'ktsehu at the very end, which would be the most physical part of it, lis bach the other klal ad kadmon. There's nothing that would be able to make it reachable, understandable, or beyond our ability. So let's go on. So that was number Yud Zayin, number Yud Ches. So there's Yud Ches of Bar Minach Leis Yechida Eloi V'Satoi. So he says this language. He says Kacha Garas of Ramak V'Pardes became Garsa of B'Shas Ratzon Hagroa, the Siddur Balatanya, of Ber L'Chai Roi, all of these, with the Girsa B'Cheves Yechida. In another Girsa, it has this word Yechida. The Keter of the Melech had sealed beer of the Girsa of Acheres, so he brings this out. The Girsa Acheres, where is this? Where Yechida? Girsa Acheres Zel Lashana. But the Sifra Achrina, Lis Yechidoi. Now, what's Sifra mean here? But the Sifrin Acherin Lis Yechido. So, in other words, some books have this word, some of them don't. Pirshu Kamosha Amba Le'el. Antud Chad Below V'Chushban, you are one, but not one in a series of counting. Below Ke'echad Amand Gui Ella Achdus Gamor, but not like, say, one that you're counting, like 1, 2, like that. Ella Achdus Gamur Gomor, it means complete and total oneness. Bar Minach Leise, but without you, there would be no oneness. Ella Atar Echad Davka below Zolosach Adkan. Let's go on a little bit more. And so if we went to number Yud Tes, it would have to say, it's like Kaneshama Amamedes, like a soul, or this Penemius, Amamedes Kibur Be'evari Haguf, that it stands and it joins together all the different limbs of the body, the different parts of the body. The whole process would be destroyed. The part would be separated. And so the names of the spheros and so on and so forth would cause each one of them to separate and go their own way. Now we have number Kaf down below. Let me see how I could do this. Number Kaf down below says like this. So it's the like our souls, that our neshama inside of us, there's a life force inside, causes everything to work together. So if that does happen, and it causes the product, I guess, the body or the physicality to become separated, then the letters of the names will start to scatter. Ishmael Achim. Derek Marshall, let's take, he says, Shem Ben Asa Chiber Os Yosef Al Yidech Neshama or Ein Sod Memechavrim. So he said, well, I don't know why he chose the name Ben, but he says the name Ben, which really refers to the most physical part of whatever. Asa Chibur, that the name itself becomes joined together, the letters of it, Yidech Neshama, the or the Ein Sof Memechavrim. V'im yispardach ba'osius enim nikro shem ben. So if they start separating, then it's not a ben anymore. You could say the same thing about the asam. He said v'im kain kashem yisyachdem chasvirus v'yichru muchanin the kabel the shefa einsof, that when you join together these spheros, and they're prepared the kabel the shefa einsof. That coming together, that's actually the will of the Ein Sof Baruch Hu that causes them to come together in the first place. Neshama the Eivari Aguf, or built the Ein Sof Yichud, built the Ein Sof, built without this power of the Ein Sof that joins. He's just talking about the names of Asma. Ein Lechem Yichud, they would never stand together. The letters would be scattered. This is like he's like an artisan. so to speak, that puts all the things together. That is the koach, making things into one or work together. Hachi yichud kudra berichu l'shkinte. Afal gav the ina kenishbesach the gabi karsi is like a nishma that comes like into a karsi, which is like a the male going into the female. So umalachi, let's see, umalachi. Chachi ilun the gabach ilus kagufa. So it is the interior of the interior, like inside of the body. Becomes. Let me see if I can read this again. Malachim chachi ilun the gabach ilus kagufa. Anto the miyached lon umakarav lon. You're the one that actually makes them into one. You're the one that brings them together. So therefore, your imuna, he says, your imuna, didoch bahom is inside of imuna, is something very fragile. So it's at least relative to the product. It's hard to find. So he said, your imuna is inside of them. But you don't have something inside of you. You don't have a neshama that would make you kagufa, that would make you like a female aspect, let's say, like a body that would be receiving it, relationship to it. The antun neshama, the neshama, because you're the soul of souls, v'lish neshama Allah. There is no neshama, no panemius to you. Of tikunu b'v'rabu'ilas I'll call naharim gnizim amistimim knishbesach b'gufa. So about ilas I'll call the ultimate panemius. I'll call ha'ilus. Ihu I'll call naharim. It's inside of all lights. Any light or energy that exists, you are inside of it. Gnizim v'stimim knishbesach b'gufa, just like the neshama that keeps the body together. Or Kadmon, the original light, Afal Gav the Ihu Sansim Viganes Vihu Kadmon, the called Spirit, and even though I'm not sure what he means by or Kadmon, but let's see. It says Afal Gav the Ihu Sansim Viganes, it's even though it's completely hidden. Vihu Kadmon, the called Spirit, and it became before any structural element at all, or any. The spirit here in this case is like any vessel that could hold that light. But the call asvan v'dekudi v'taime hoki ihu l'gabe ilus I'll call ilus. So he says all of these things, the letters, the likudim, the tamim, all of those things have within them you, so to speak. Ilus are called ilus kagufa the gabe nishpa, so that they become like a body in relationship to the panemius of them. They be ilus because in the most panimistic place. Liz baragabo, there is no color that we could say, velo tsura or any form, velo diukno, velo shutvo. Is that right? Velo shutafo. No, you have no partners. Of the azar of the ain lo, a place there is a ain lo shalit. Over azar the ayin lo shalit, in a place that an eye cannot visualize. Man yochel lama'avid dimyon ad kan shalo, find someone who can find some kind of a comparison. That's the case at Melech. Now the Pirush called the Shas Ratzon, Pirush kan shuhu al derek afal pi. So what does that mean? A bar minach, without you, bilti ha'or shal ein sof baruch hu, without that light of the ein sof baruch hu, shemei b'partzufim hatzilus, which shines in the partzufim of hatzilus, shehem eloi v'satoi, that are up above, also down below. Lo chava lechem yichud zecher b'zeh, they would not be able to join together in any way. V'choim ispardim zeh b'zeh, so there would be just like stars or whatever. I'm not sure about stars, that's not the right way to say it, but they would all scatter. Abba min ima, for example, zer min nuk, they would not be able to come together. So we have to understand the possibility that there could be yichud in the world only comes from you. Lis Yehuda be'edach of his toy, for Ein Sof Baruch Hu Mashpir Hu Meir Bechem, and it shines inside of them, it's lavish Besochem, and it clothed inside of them. Hu Machabram Yachadam is Yachadam. So it's what joins them together, and it's the same statement that joins them together. V'afal pi kain liz diyada bach kwak, and even though you're the first force of unity because you are only one, even though afal pi kain liz diyada bach kwal, even though it's obvious that this has to be within all things, but there's nobody knowable what that is. Moshe Adam Yodera b'makaras nafshos, for example, a person could know and he could recognize that he has a soul on Khan. So trying to work on that, trying to talk at that. Now we're back to a little introduction again, and let's see, a little introduction again, and it says, Tisbar she'ein shum tefisa v'chasaga, so it's been explained here that there is no tefisa, no chasaga be'ein zod baruch hu. V'ata yifarish Eliyahu, now Eliyahu wants to say this, Ki achein b'mechusa yizbarach, so in his reality, or the being of Hashem's being, she'ein kol hasaga, there is no way to be able to appreciate that. But we can understand his reality through what he's created. Like, if you create something as a stamp that made it be there, so to speak, he had that kind of idea. So now it says like this, and we'll read the top a little bit. So he says, "Va'afal pisha amarno she'ein evsher she'i evsher lahasig mehusachol imzos anto ish demoida adam nakola." But nonetheless, you are known. Mitziyusachoch no das lona she'ata adon nakol, because you're the master of everything. Kim betoch masav no das mitziyus, because of the product or what he's able to create. We understand his reality, his baruch. Shuhu Adam al kol hanetzalim, because you're the master of everything that came out from you. V'hanivroim, v'chanoitzrim, v'hanaasim, and all those things that are made. Let's look at number Kaf Aleph down below. That seemed like a place to go over here and take a look at this. See, so he says, Al Pi, the Pirish, which is called the Shas Ratzon, Zikr Menachem, and the Be'er L'chai Rawi, all of those. Zel Shona, Shas Ratzon, at time of Shas. This is what Zel Lashon the Shas Ratzon. Afal Pi Shamarna list the Yada B'Klal, even though that we know that there's no knowing you. Zicha Bepratos, the Hasig, Zechu Bepratos, but in specifically the Hasig, so talking about the Hasig, the Das, the Haker B'or Ein Sof Baruch Hu, Shum Yediyah, it's not possible to understand that. Aver v'zul bilvad derek klal shachakol elyonim v'tachtonim yodim sha'ein sof baruch hu adam al kola, but we understand there is a master. Zecher she'amar v'ant ish demoida adam al kula, because you are known as the master of all things, al filo al ak adkan, even to Adam Kadmon. V'kisei melech kasav, that's his language. It's just refining this language here. Modim she'ato hu eloki o elokim v'adoner adonim ela shechoshvim she'abadasam lahevels, but they think like this. Everybody recognizes there's a power beyond. And he said, but even though ela shechoshvim she'abadasam lahevel, that what they do is to serve or to try to reach this is really worthless. Lahevel hemo ratzon, so hemo ratzon on the language here is a little confused, but he's hemo ratzon also adon nakol yir v'hem l'rik yigo. Let me try this again. I did translate it before. El shechoshvim that they're really doing things as a Hema Ratzon Adon call them that they recognize that there is a master of everything, and they'll be able to reach it. The week you go. So in other words, they're saying that they recognize there's something, there is a force beyond, but what they're trying to do to serve it or to reach it is worthless. And that we have this Gemara over here. I spent a little time trying to understand these words. It's a ganva afun machtarta rachmanakari. So I think it means a ganef in the middle of his stealing. He's calling out to God to help him so he won't get caught. V'kulam modim she'ata adam akol. So we see that everybody, all creatures, recognize that there is something beyond, the force beyond, and even a thief in the middle of his thievery, he feels that. Let's go back up to the top again. That's where we're at. So he says, "V'chol sfirin kol chad isle shem yediyah." So now he goes at different types, something slightly different. V'chol sfiros kol echad yesh lo shem yedulo miyuchad lo. There is a specific name that is designated for it. Sfiros nikroim al shem, because the spheros are called al shem pa'ulasehem, according to what they do. By these different names, that each sphera has an action that it does itself. I guess independent. And regarding the spheros, which are panimi, we have also names for malachim. Hashem is the kroim gam malachim, ki malachim yonkim hasviros hamiyuchados lahem, that causes them to, that joins together with them, according to what their appointment is. So that let's look at these little words, and from that he says that the sphere itself provides the sustenance, way I understand it, for the malach. So the malach is attached to a sphere. Let's come up here to number Kaf Beis, where it says, what did it say? He says, yes, spheres nekroim al shem pa'ulasam sehem. They're called by the names of what they do. Hu masha kaseh Rabbeinu Harizach be'etz chaim, he writes this. Asher l'siv l'zu nikrach anatzalim yud midas v'yud spheros l'choros ki yesh bechem midah v'kitzvah, to tell you that they have special boundaries or endpoints, a mispar kotzuv, and also a count, a special count that's fixed in them. Masha ein came be'ein sof baruch. So each one of them has a quality. The quality is already a midah. So he says, but that's not the case of what's panimi to them. Yom Shom. V'zeh she'omba b'kol sfirin kol chad islei shem yedua. Says yediyah. V'shmo mora olav, and its name, the name to it, teaches us about, shows us about it. Olav. And that's what it is, that it has some boundaries. That's according to Shatz Ratzon. So look over here, the Rai Mehemna. The call Svira Isla Shem Yadu Omida V'Gavur V'Dechom. Ve'ele Shemachim Mare Alma, the Shemachim Mare Alma Ihu Mispashet. In those names, the Mari are the master of the universe, Ihu Mispashet V'Amlech Bahom, and he chooses them, or he points them. The Iskri Bahom, and he's called in them, I guess, something like that. Beret L'chai L'Hoi, according to the Beret L'chai Roi. V'zel L'shono, V'zel Loshen Sefer Shari Ora. Da ki Hashem HaMeyuchod HaNikmach HaBavaya Yizbarach. Hu hashorsh v'ha'ikr l'kol shemois v'yizbarach. It is the root. It is the binding force, I guess, of all the names. Because Hashem is kulam bo yine'echazim, and all the names in him they hold. They hold, all of them are held inside of him. Because spheres el yonos kol sadosiv bo adkan lashona. All of their secrets are inside of him, and this is his language. Now, number Kaf Gimel, which came after that, and looking at it from up above, it says like this: Nikar ki l'kol sphera pa'ula b'fnei atzma, that every sphera has action by itself. Let's go on a little bit more. I don't think there's much there. It's according to the Ramak, he says. So the Malachim are called by those names. The Malachim are also called here. Because they are attached, the Malachim are joined together with the Spheros. They get their energy from the Spheros. According to what they're sent to do. So along the way, you see that the Malach itself is called by the Sphera from which it gets its energy. So let's look at number Kaf Dalet. Dalet has a few ideas here. He says, number Kaf Dalet, Sichi, Kol Malach, Yesh Lo Yenika Misphera Miuchedes Lo. So according to whatever is going to come out from this, so we see that really is the idea of its agency. That its name is called in this way. Because all of the names are called after the name of the action that it has to do, and the action that it has to do with the sphere to which it comes out. That's according to Ber L'Chai Roi. So he says, let's look at it like this. He says, every malach has to be joined together with the sphera. Because Sphera is La Shem Yediyah, so each one of them has a specific name, a specific Avaya. Because Shemalchon Toma is Lon Ikara V'Yisoda. And so all the names there, they have a root, they have a foundation. So keep this idea in your mind. The call memanen the le'er shemachem the lehon talion b'svirim b'shem l'seichem kol chad is le'kra al shem shema delay ein sham. So now this phrase here, we get to that name, I wrote it out. V'sefer ziva zohar al pesach ELIYAHU l'riyah. So I has a Yitzchak or Zahava, I think is his name.
No.
No.
The name.
What is it?
I don't know what the yid is, but the Aleph sign is Asher Zelig.
Asher Zelig? Alright, so I just looked it up. That's the best I could do. Yitzchak Asher Zelig.
Not sure if it's
I don't have...
I don't know
yeah, what? Okay, we'll just keep it. It wasn't really in my Rosh Hashanah over there. They had a couple of different names. I don't know which one it was. Pasach ELIYAHU l'riyah, anyway. Margolius. I should have looked up maybe that one there. Mitzayin the sub l'muva be'etz chaim. So we found over there they brought in the Eitz Chaim.
No, Yeshaya.
I'm sorry.
Yeshaya Asher Zelig.
Oh, you found it?
Yeah.
Yeshaya. Asher Zelig Margolius. So he says, so he goes to the Asher, I can't read my own writing. Okay, let me get the Ria. So go the Margolios. But sign the Miz Lemuver Be'etz Chaim. Is a beginning his lavshus Yud Spheros Atzilut Belevushim Shonim that the Yud Spheros, the Tzilus, are clothed in Belevushim Shonim al Yadam his lavshusam B'Yud Spheros Debria. And through these different, let me read this again. The sign the mover Be'etz Chaim is a beginning his lavshus Yud Spheros the Tzilus Belevushim Rishonim, they're all clothed in different levushim. Al Yadam his lavshusam b'Yud Spheros Debria. So through these, Al Yadam his lavshusam, through them is their clothing in the Yud Spheros Debria. V'achakach malvisha melechem Yud Spheros Yitzira. And so I guess that's what he wants to say, is that the levush of Atzilus is in Bria. And the levush of Yibria is in Yud Spheros the Yitzira. Im kol bechinas hav levushim sheba'osa olam. And then he says, Ba'achar kach Yud Spheros the Asiya. Then after that there are 10 Spheros of the Asiya. B'kol zecha be'Yud Spheros, all of this in these Yud Spheros. Ya'achar kach heim hamalachim and achazim be'Yud Spheros. Then after that, you get through those. They're the malachim that are holding on or attached to the Yud Spheros. Mini levushim, there are different types of levushim, mecherim, al the Yud Spheros. Beinim Spheros rak malachim, and they're not Spheros, they're only malachim. Ki heim levushim chitzonim ma'od, because the malachim are the outermost levush of these lights. Ad kad shono, Be'etz Chaim, ayin shon. So I'm going to stop here. And stop here. Okay, so this is today is today is what? 30 Tishrei. Okay, let's stop there. Now I had this book, I don't know whether you're interested in pursuing it. You know, the book that we got from Rabbi Memron, let us get that huge book.
Which one?
It's a book. It's a sitter, actually. Kavonas. Let me stop this just a second. I'm doing too many things at once.